What's going on, everybody? This is a requested video. Probably the best idea yet. There isn't much of this around. There's videos here and there, but not a ton. Somebody requested a video on how to breed boas. I am by far no expert. This is my first year. Well, actually, this is my second year trying to breed. The first year, my female ended up being a male, so that didn't work out too well. But this year, I had two pairs, and one took for me. So anyway, I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible, even though it's gonna be a long video. But to get started, if you can raise a snake up from a baby, you can buy an adult, whatever you want. To start, I'd feed, depending on how big your female is. I don't get her obese, but feed her a good amount. My females get a 2 to 3 pound rabbit every 10 days to 2 weeks. That seems to get them at a pretty good weight without making them just look like meatballs. If you don't want to do rabbits, if you don't have access to them, whatever, two extra large rats is about the same. If you're doing rats though, I'd keep it at like 2 weeks. Rats are a lot more fattening. Well, not fattening, but they just have a much higher fat content than rabbits. And the snakes won't get as lean, but it's up to you. Look at just look at your snake's body, and you should be able to gauge how much food you give them. I feed my snakes, weekly or bi-weekly from March to Halloween, October 31st. At that time, I start lowering the temperatures. We're just gonna say that they're ready to breathe. I prefer the females to be 3 or older, 3 years old or older, and a pretty good size. If you have a 3-year-old that's tiny, I would go ahead and wait until they're 4. Because if they're too small, they're either gonna give you a small litter, or they're gonna just it's gonna stress them out a lot. Plenty of people breed 2-year-old boas and stuff, but I don't know from experience, but everything I've read and heard, they don't live as long, and it's not really good for them. So right around Halloween, I bring down the temperatures. I bring it down slowly. Usually I have my thermostat set at 86 degrees ambient, which is air temperature, and that's like a 92 to 94 degree hot spot. Over a 2-week period, I bring that down to 80 during the day ambient, which is like an 85 degree hot spot. And then at night, I bring it all the way down to 74, and the hot spot's usually close to like 79 or 80. Again, everything I'm saying here is basically from this book. I've showed it before. It's the Complete Boa Constrictor by Vin Russo. This book is a must-have if you have boas, if you're planning on breeding them too. I got all my stuff from that book and what I've learned from a bunch of breeders. So again, right around Halloween, drop the temperatures and bring them down to about 80 during the day, 74 at night. I do that on 12-hour cycles. I do the temperatures. I also put the male in right around then, right at the same time that I'm dropping the temperatures. it's up to the male really what temperatures he wants to breed at. My male, my hypermolly didn't start breeding until the temperatures were all warmed up. So, you know, you can go a while without seeing anything. Just be patient, and if they're interested, they'll do it. So, also, before you start dropping temperatures, I stop feeding them 2 weeks before that to let anything they have in their system pass, because you know, as most of you know, if they have a meal in them and they don't have the heat to digest that meal, they can get sick and throw it up, or it could go rancid in their stomach and they could possibly die. So give them a while to pass whatever they have. They should have enough fat deposits to you know, last that whole breeding cycle without eating. So but yeah, once the temperatures are down, I keep them in there together the whole time. You know, during a shed cycle, I put in another male because the male just lost all interest while he was in shed. And you know, once he does shed, or she sheds, I leave all the skin in there just to add some, you know, just so there's more scent in there. I spray them once a week. You know, it is supposed to resemble a dry season, so it doesn't have to be that humid in the cage. And this goes on for about 10 weeks. And then in about mid-February, I start bringing the temperatures back up. Again, it's like a 2-week cycle, and I bring the day temperatures back up to about 84 ambient, or air temperature. And that is about a 90 to 92 degree hot spot, and you know, that heat is just about perfect for a pregnant female. Again, it was at this time that my Motley started breeding the female that I had him with. Bred her nonstop for about 3 weeks. Once he stopped and, you know, they lost all interest, I left him in there for about 3 weeks or a month. I'm not exactly sure how long, but you know, I made sure he wasn't going to try to breed her again. And you know, this was probably, I don't know, like the end of March. You know, he lost all interest, so I removed him from the cage. And then the second part, I think the hardest part of breeding boas, is taking care of the gravid female. You know, once the temperatures are up, again 84 during the day, I left those temperatures constant. I left the ambient temperature at 84 and the hot spot around 90 to 92. I sprayed her every night. You know, I didn't soak her, just a good mist of the whole cage to keep the humidity up. And I did give her probably 2 or 3 small meals when I removed the male from the cage, just to, you know, replenish some of her deposits, because she did lose some weight. But after that, I didn't feed her at all. I gave her water every day and sprayed her, but you know, that's about it. I tried not to hold her that much. And yeah, that's really it. Yeah, I just watched her. And then, sure enough, in the beginning of July, she dropped her litter. So, you know, again, that's what I did. That's what worked for me. Everybody, I'm sure, has their own little differences in what they do, but, you know, this is what worked for me. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Keep the requests coming. This was a good video, I think. So, any other questions, put them in the comments. I think I answered all the questions, but again, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll answer anything. So keep the requests coming. Thanks, guys.